Are you spending the right quality of your effort in the scope of competition? Or are you just working hard for the sake of working hard because they told me that if I work hard, the results will come? Working hard for the sake of working hard will never get you to your goal, unfortunately. Yes, you'll build, but you will not move as fast enough or as high enough as you want to. So most people get frustrated and quit. They just fall off. And that's why I say it'll never get you to your goal. Everything I do is a means to an end. Every decision I make, I always ultimately ask myself, what's the opportunity here? How does this give me an edge? How does this build on what I'm working on to the bigger goal? It's not, man, I got to do this because I have to do this, and it's work. So it's really a focus on the quality of work and the time you're putting in versus just working hard. The more time I put in, the more results I'm going to get. That equation does not work. Does not work. You can spend an infinite number of hours making no progress, believe it or not, because you're just doing busy work that doesn't move the progression needle at all. So then you'll look back and you're like, damn, I spent 50 hours on this thing and I haven't gotten anywhere. That's true, because you haven't dedicated the work to the quality of how it creates opportunity, how it gives you a competitive edge, or how it builds on top of everything else you're doing. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Yun Win, also known as the Prolific Ninja or Ninja by my family and friends, and because my fans are my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the End-to-End Podcast, the alpha to the omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. Back in studio on a beautiful Monday morning as we record this for pushing out in a couple weeks here. We like to try to stay ahead on these episodes, but it's been a busy week. Just got back from Las Vegas at a national lawyers conference called MTMP, Mass Torts Made Perfect, where we were just talking about PFAS for 3 days straight. And I had a very good time networking with other attorneys, other experts, professionals on the space. And if you are not familiar with PFAS, let me tell you about it. It is a chemical in the water that's been linked to cancer. And so, I do the show on my own dime, on my own time, no sponsors, spend a lot of money producing this content, getting it out to you all for consumption and enjoyment. Hopefully you learn something. And so one of the ways you can support the show, besides sharing it, is checking out PFAS. We have a website, pfasinjuryattorney.com. or on social media, PFAS Lawyer on X and YouTube, where you can learn a lot more about all this chemical in the water that's causing cancer. But just coming back from Vegas, seeing the momentum being driven around this area, this is the next massive environmental litigation campaign. So if you know anybody with cancer or have been affected by cancer in any way, please do visit those websites. But going back to it, back in the studios, just a good time. Last night, we sponsored an exhibition match, basketball game between two powerhouses locally, both mid-major Division I basketball programs in Sam Houston State, where my son just committed not too long ago, and then Prairie View A&M. We sponsored that, spread the awareness on PFAS again, and have gotten several inquiries on families that we can help. So it just goes to show you that the energy we're putting into this PFAS campaign to A, help as many people as we possibly can, but B, also drive this show because the work there helps me spread all the knowledge here. So with that, in starting the show, as you know, or if you're new to the show, I start my show as I start my day. When I wake up in the morning, when I open my eyes, I thank God and the universe for another day to be great, another day to hopefully inspire somebody to be or live to their fullest controllable potential, which is the mission statement of this podcast. And with that, before I get into the details of the show or the actual subject matter, I want to let you all know that I'm grateful for you all for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, following, especially sharing, especially following. Our audience continues to grow substantially at a very rapid clip now. We're sort of right at that inflection point. They say it takes 400 plus episodes to get to 1 million followers or 1 million views. I feel like we're right here because we're hitting now in the 50, 60,000 followers in combined platform over the last 2+ years now that we have not missed a weekly episode. So with that, I want to thank you all for liking, following, commenting, and sharing. We do this on a value exchange. So if you learn just a little bit, 0.00001%, more information gained through this episode or any other episode, please do share the show. If you find somebody that you believe might benefit from listening to this show or any past episode, please do share it with them. That's the only way we grow. I like to say, for knowledge swell, share the show. That is how we grow. So to the topic at hand, a lot of motivational, success-oriented podcasters or influencers out there say, man, if you work hard, the outcome you want is going to come. Just got to work hard, got to grind, got to work hard. And I know in many instances, there's a lot of frustration because a lot of you all out there, you work hard, you put in the grind, but you don't see the results. Okay. And you're patient. I understand that. And it is, although it is true that the results of working hard will always come through. Okay. There's an efficient way to do it. Now, last week we did talk about the last episode. I did talk about how you can leverage a 2-for-1 or a 3-for-1 concept, okay, in your energy and effort, right? In similar fashion, and go back to the last episode if you missed it, but in similar fashion, there are ways to get over the frustration. A lot of the frustration about not seeing results in working hard, and there's a lot to it. But the question is are you working hard at the right things? Okay, so this is a quality over quantity concept. Okay, if we presume that success, goals, hitting what you want, achieving the dreams that you want is a matter of competitiveness, because everybody's wanting the same things: money, opportunity, positioning, the supercar, the hypercar, the mansion, the vacation. Everybody's vying for the same resources, the same status, the same goals. It is a competition. Okay, so we're going to presume that because you're listening to this podcast, you understand that it is a competition. So going to the concept of effort, working hard, not seeing results, are you spending the right quality of your effort in the scope of competition? Or are you just working hard for the sake of working hard because they told me that if I work hard, the results will come? Working hard for the sake of working hard will never get you to your goal, unfortunately. Yes, you'll build, but you will not move as fast enough or as high enough as you want to. So most people get frustrated and quit. They just fall off. And that's why I said it'll never get you to your goal. It's like training for, my son training in basketball, right? You could put 2 hours on the court practicing, but if it's not focused practice, then you might as well have not gone out there at all. If you're not thinking about how you're practicing, how you're doing your reps, how you're creating opportunity through this practice, then you might as well not be out there, because it's not registering in your brain or getting into your subconscious how this is helping. So a lot of people put in a lot of work, countless hours. I'm working hard. I don't understand why the results aren't coming. That's because it's not the right focused work. So how do we solve that? So when I was young, I grew up enamored with Machiavelli for some reason. He was an Italian scholar, strategist, and his main claim to fame, even though the work became popular after his death, was The Prince. He wrote a book called The Prince, and the idea behind the book essentially was the ends justified the means. Okay. Now, taken to extreme, basically he was saying, look, whatever you want, you got to do whatever it takes to get it without ethics, without morality. Like the end justifies the means. What you want justifies how you get it. So that talking about murder and killing people and stuff like that, that's too far. But where I do agree is that you got to be willing to do what it takes to get what you want within ethical and within the law, of course, right? In that regard, when you're working hard, are you thinking about how this work is creating opportunity for you? Are you thinking about how this work you're doing is giving you that competitive edge? Are you thinking about how the things you are doing are building up towards a larger end result? Or are you just being busy doing work? There is a subtle distinction that you must train yourself in order to actually move the needle towards progress. You see, everything I do, right, is a means to an end, is a justification to an end, right? The ends justifies the means within the law and ethics, right? But everything I do is a means to an end. Every decision I make, I always ultimately ask myself, what's the opportunity here? How does this give me an edge? How does this build on what I'm working on to the bigger goal? It's not, man, I got to do this because I have to do this and it's work. Like it could be busy work. It could be working on a case. And I may get bored and I may get, slothy in my mind and disinterested. But to pull myself back to center and stay focused on the work, I constantly ask myself, what's the opportunity here? How does this give me an edge? How does this continue to build on what I want? So if I'm bored with the case, oh man, this is the same shit over and over again. Well, what's the opportunity? Well, if I build this one, if I do well on this one, then I might get a bigger one. Or if I stay dialed in here, this helps me in the next case with a similar fact pattern, let's say, or a similar issue, so that I'm better prepared for the next case. Or as I'm working on Cure Connector, for example, does adding this, I'm in the software development meeting, we're talking about different things, and it's a boring ass meeting because it's technical ish, and I'm sitting in there saying, well, okay, to pull me back to it, am I thinking about the right opportunities this feature on this software will benefit? Okay, if you have that entrenched in your mind, in your subconscious, as you're going through this mass amount of hard work that you're having, okay, you'll move ever closer to your goals much more quickly, because every step, every action has a point, a design, an end to justify the mean. Okay, it's like thinking about the end and working backwards. So you have to go through this process. What is the opportunity? What is the edge? And going back to the idea that it's competition, that's what you're competing against. That's how you get above your competition, by thinking about what is the opportunity? What is the edge? How am I building more than what my competition is, when you're sitting there frustrated over not getting results out of your work? So it's really a focus on the quality of work and the time you're putting in versus just working hard. The more time I put in, the more results I'm going to get. That equation does not work. Does not work. You can spend an infinite number of hours making no progress, believe it or not, because you're just doing busy work that doesn't move the progression needle at all. So then you'll look back and you're like, damn, I spent 50 hours on this thing and I haven't gotten anywhere. That's true, because you haven't dedicated the work to the quality of how it creates opportunity, how it gives you a competitive edge, or how it builds on top of everything else you're doing. So you must focus the work on these things. You must focus on giving yourself that edge, especially if you're at a disadvantage in resources, talent, whatever it is, right? The less talent you have, the less resources you have, the more focused your work has to be. Like going back to the sports analogy. That's why I love sports so much, because it's so parallel to real life. If you're undersized, right, or not as athletically gifted or talented, the only way to get a strategic advantage is through your mind, right? So if you're an undersized athlete, in order to get an advantage over a better giftedly talented opponent is you have to put in the reps to look at all the scenarios possible that can occur in the game, whatever game of choice, basketball, football, whatever. Because then when you're putting yourself in multiple scenarios, your reaction time, your thinking time is quicker. And you're seeing things happen before other athletes see it happen. And so you can foresee what's going to happen and get ahead of it. And that's how you get a mental strategic advantage to make up for a physical disadvantage. You see, the physically gifted athlete, they don't need to worry about scenarios. They just use their natural talents to try to get them by. And so when they don't see a scenario that is playing out in the game that they haven't practiced, they will be slower in reacting and adjusting. And therefore, the smaller athlete gains the advantage because they've put enough reps in all scenarios where they see everything that's happened before. And so they gain an advantage. Similarly, in your work, you must figure out how to work where you're creating opportunity, creating strategic advantage, and building on every step of the goals that you need to take. Okay, so go back and think about it. The means to end, the ends justify the means, and your ends are creating opportunity, finding an edge, and building on existing steps to get to your goal. Okay, the ends do justify the means, obviously within ethical and legal boundaries, but the end justifies the means. Anytime, for example, last example, when I get into a negotiation, right? And this is the best scenarios. When I get into a negotiation on anything, trying to make a deal or trying to negotiate, the opportunity here, actually, this is free game for y'all. What I think about is, what is the opportunity for my maximal gain where the other side can also gain? All right, I'm going to repeat that because this is way free game. In negotiating, I always think about the question, the desired outcome I'm aiming for is, how do I max out on what I want out of this while also allowing the other side to gain as well? Right? Because why? Those create the best, either business partners, business allies, somebody that supports you. They don't feel like you're taking advantage of them. You don't create an enemy where you got to crush them, so to speak. Now, there are situations where if I want to crush somebody, I work towards crushing them. But in most instances, I'm thinking about, what can I get out of this negotiation where I am maximally gaining while still allowing the other side to win a little or a lot or none. But mostly it's at win a lot too. Because then that way they know the next time around, the next go around, hey, Jan is not going to take advantage of me. He knows he's looking out for me. I also want to look out for him. I'm going to give him what he wants because I know he's going to give me what I want. You see how that works? So think about your work, your quantity of work versus your quality of work. Are you really getting closer to your goals? Because if you're not, you got to go back and rewind and really think about how you are working. Working for work's sake doesn't get you there. You must put in the dedicated work, the focused work on creating opportunity, creating an edge, and building on your goals. All right. So with that, I want to thank you all for listening and tuning in today. If you're new to the show or if you've been listening a while, I always end my show as I end my day. Before I put my head to the pillow, close my eyes, I always thank God and the universe for an opportunity to be great, an opportunity to hopefully have inspired at least one person today to live to their fullest controllable potential. Our mission statement here is to inspire billions across the planet to live to their fullest controllable potential. And with that, I want to thank you all for listening. If you find any value out of this show in any way at all, please do share this show. Like, comment, follow, continually build and grow the audience. The only way we get this message out is through your participation. And you know about me, I like to keep a karmic balance. So if you found value, share the show. That's how we repay each other. I'm giving this to you for free. So if you take this information, go make $1 billion and don't share the show, then you owe me, and you don't want to owe me. So please do share the show. Again, if you know anybody with cancer, please do send them to pfasinjuryattorney.com or PFAS Lawyer on X. That's how you can also rebalance that karmic balance on your side if you found value of this show. But with that, I want to thank you for listening, liking, commenting, following, and sharing. Be great today, but be even more grateful. And I'll talk to you very, very soon.